Silksong is coming out tomorrow. Or it is already out, depending when you're watching. And you know what that means. I'm gonna predict the style before I've even seen the game. And what do I mean by predict the style? Well, I'm gonna try and basically replicate it by using the inspirations from Hollow Knight. The first step to replicating the style is just to draw it. First, I started off with the Knight character. Then I moved on to Hornet, getting as many poses I could find from the original game. After that, just some characters that piqued my interest. Just copying wouldn't be enough. So this is the Hollow Knight board, and you can see this is like the first drawing, and I really don't like it. It looks really amateurish and not like Hollow Knight at all. And then I moved on to like, actually no, I'm gonna add my own line weight and details, and I think as an image it looks a lot more professional than this one, Hornet. And you can see how the line work is a lot more flowy so much, and these are the little sprites from in the game that I found. I'm just trying to do like feedback on like my characters. Like I'm trying to do feedback. What do you think of my Hollow Knight, not Deltarune characters? Well, they're characters in the game. I'm just doing color analysis.
Yeah. What do you think of Rita Western?
I think it's not Hollow Knight. This is my color trials. Now I noticed there's two ways of shading. There's either flat colors like this, or there's slight gradients. See how there's slight airspray here and here. What I can gather from the style is the line work I can't get smooth enough, but if I do like my own weighted line work, it seems fine-ish. And then here are my own poses for Hornet. I took some like ballet poses and I tried sort of like replicating that in Hornet style, and then just some running and some fighting poses. I found this is a superhero fighting pose. What informs the making of Hollow Knight? Well, from the interviews I found, it's Soulborn Games, so we gotta get those for inspiration. So from now, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna have to try and design my own characters and guess maybe what's gonna be in Silksong. I think there'll be ants in there, and I think someone's confirmed ants, I'm not so sure. I'm gonna definitely combine an ant with a random Elden Ring character. Then I am going to randomly select 3 other bugs, and then we're gonna randomly combine them. I think that's the fairest way to do it. My first character, okay. I really want to do a honeypot ant. There are this very strange ant, and combining it with the Elden Ring character, we chose this character. And while designing it, I was doing like a lot of shape language. So first I took some of the Elden Ring inspiration with the 2 shields either side. So it kind of copied the swinging pendulums on the arms. And I guess every character has to have a story. One important thing about Hollow Knight is the story, and I assume about Silksong is going to be the story. This is a honeypot ant. When all the soldiers had died in the nest due to the centipede outbreak, she had to take up the mantle of guarding her brethren. While designing honeypot ant, I was playing around with lots of different versions of the colors. I wasn't happy with too much of them, and it didn't seem to quite be working until I decided, okay, what would this character look like while fighting? And I assumed the character would have a spin move. So I just tried little doodles on the side just to capture what this character would look like in movement, and that definitely helped with my final color choice in the end. The centipede or millipede, I don't know the difference, but I'm pretty sure it's a centipede. I should have done the curly mustache, but I wasn't brave enough to try that. From the beginning, I knew exactly what I wanted to do with this character. I wanted to use, I'm pretty sure it's Bloodborne. You'll have to fact check me on this, but I really wanted to do a version of this creature, and the idea of they had infected different creatures, some creepy parasite story you could make from that. And I made sure to use the technique of how the moths were drawn with slight gradients, so it's very subtle. It still feels like it's limited to a certain amount of colors, but there is some dynamics and adding some depth with having a bit of a gradient in different areas. Then we have Mothborn. I like calling her Mothborn, but it's one of these adorable fluffy white moths, which are so cute. But I also wanted to combine it with this like Bloodborne slash perfumers from Elden Ring sort of characters. The cape was meant to look like a perfumer's robe, but let's be honest, it just looks like shattered moth rings. It's a moth, all her kind are dead, and she's out for revenge. She has teamed up with aphids, which you'll see her surrounded by aphids, who have also lost their vegetation and plant life. She raises these aphids, but also at the same time, the aphids inhabit the corpses of some of the fallen moths. Very dark, but I feel it's somewhat in the Hollow Knight storytelling. Yeah, that's pretty dark, so I think it kind of fits. At the end, we had the final piece. Now, I had the characters and it felt really empty, so I needed to add the little minions. So I started drawing them individually. I obviously had Hornet and I had her front and center. I had the sketches from the beginning of the thumbnails that I would have the centipedes behind, but it definitely felt that it was lacking stuff at the bottom. So I drew some more centipedes just to balance that out. Adding the little minions and glow bugs I thought were a really good contrast to the dark background. I'm not so sure if I predicted anything in Silksong. I'm hoping they got somewhere similar to the style. While it's not how it would look like in game, I'm hoping someone can look at it from a distance and go, oh, that's Hollow Knight, or oh, that's Silksong. That's really my goal. That being said though, I wouldn't mind get this printed on a t-shirt.